Hi guys, today we are going to study a very important topic of Muslim law, that is iddat. This topic is important both from the preliminary point of view as well as for the mains exam of judiciary. Iddat is when a marriage is dissolved by a death or divorce up to some period. Women cannot remarry as defined in Muslim Women Protection and Divorce Act 1986. It is basically a period of chastity. The basic reason for iddat is to avoid the confusion of paternity of the child. Both husband and women cannot remarry during the period of iddat. There are two categories of iddat, or we can say that the duration of iddat. First one is iddat of death or divorce or widowhood. In case a woman is pregnant at the time of death, the iddat is 4 months and 10 days or until delivery. Whichever period is longer, the women have to observe it. In other case in which the woman is not pregnant, the iddat period is 4 months and 10 days. Further, when the commencement of period of iddat. Iddat period will commence on the actual date of death of husband, not on the date on which she receives the news. Now listen it very carefully, that the iddat period will commence not on the date on which she receives the news of the death of the husband, but on the date of the death of the husband, the actual date. Iddat, what will be the iddat period during the non-consummation of the marriage? Even if a woman claims that her marriage is not consummated and her husband is dead, she has to observe iddat. But if a woman is divorced and her husband is dead, then there is no need to observe iddat. This is important, that if a woman is divorced and her husband is dead, then there is no need to observe iddat. Second category is iddat by divorce or talaq. Now the period, whereas in the date of iddat period in case of death is 4 months and 10 days, whereas here it is up to 3 menstrual periods. In case she has already passed menopause, it will be 3 lunar months. Now, what will be the wife has certain rights during the iddat? What will be the rights of women during iddat? Wife, that is. First one is she has a right of lodging in her husband's house during iddat. Second, she is entitled to maintenance during the period of iddat. The third point is very important. It is important from the preliminary point of view, that if anyone remarries, if anyone marries during the period of iddat, in case of Shias it is void marriage, and in case of Sunnis it would be irregular marriage. In Shias it is void, in Sunnis it is irregular. Amirali defined iddat as, iddat is an interval which a woman is bound to observe between termination by death or divorce of one matrimonial alliance and commencement of the another. Another important point of iddat is, if a woman get the news of death or divorce by her husband after the period of iddat, then she is not required to keep iddat. Where the husband has pronounced talaq 3 times during his death, illness, and he dies before iddat has finished, wife will inherit her share of property of the husband. When the wife will inherit the property of share of the husband, where the husband has pronounced talaq 3 times during his death, illness, and he dies before iddat has finished.